We're going to first begin talking about the difference between these two polarities of femininity that live in each and every one of our bodies. This is genderless. It's also present in a masculine body as well. There's light masculinity, dark masculinity as well. And so if we look at the lighter tones of femininity, these are the qualities of femininity that society really celebrates. It's also the types of femininity that we see in entertainment, a lot of what women are, what mothers are, what an attractive, high value woman is that a man would want. And I know that I'm using like hetero terms, but of course, we can just use this across the board in a way that feels true for you. So, light femininity has softness, receptivity, innocence, kindness, generosity, playfulness, tenderness, nurturing, and devotion. And these are all incredible qualities that we all need. And so this isn't about rejecting light femininity in order to adapt more dark femininity. It's about being able to feel the range of this spectrum inside of your own body and having access to it when necessary. The issue is when we are only just light feminine and we don't feel that we have permission, really, to embody the dark feminine. So, dark femininity has qualities like she who sets the boundaries, discernment, one's sacred no, the ability to sever, the ability to end contracts, the ability to feel and access your anger, and that anger sometimes informing more of your discernment. And it's the ability to access truth, to live from your truth, to be unapologetic about truth. It's also the realm of dark, womby intuition and connection to the unseen. Compassion lives in both light femininity and dark femininity, but I would say that dark is the fierce compassion. It's the ability to sever, to discern, to set boundaries and have a sacred no, and still do that from a place of empathy, understanding, and love. And then the sexual sovereignty, the way that I'm expressing this in dark femininity is it's kind of like the no weapons formed against me shall prosper. Wherever there's outside forces that try to extract from your sexual energy or your creative life force or to distract you from it, it's being able to feel the containment and the power and the sovereignty and the ownership and the claiming of what is yours and not having that be able to be tugged on by, let's say, the wrong people or a situation that you've outgrown. When only certain parts are allowed. So, this is what we've been talking about. It's like anywhere that we've discussed previously with the parts work, right? We talked about the exile. We talked about the parts of us that were repressed, suppressed, cast out, rejected, likely in childhood development, but probably also in past lives and also qualities of those narratives in your ancestral line, wherever it literally was not safe for you to embody certain parts of you. And so, how that impacts us now is that we tend to push away parts of us. We suppress them. We push them into our unconscious, the existential trash can of our lives, because truly it is not safe, or we've been shown that until the greater aspect of us, the part of you that can hold all aspects of your process, can bring those and retrieve those lost, fragmented aspects back into wholeness. And what is some of the cost of not having access to our dark feminine when only light femininity is permitted in our lives, or when we're only able to show light femininity in the world of dating or in partnership? And we're afraid that if we show the full range of our truth, we'll be unchosen or abandoned or rejected. So, some of the symptoms of this might be anger is exiled and repressed. our intuition is doubted and questioned. It's like constantly feeling uncertain about what we know. Boundaries collapse, which means that, you might know that you need to have a boundary, but when it's time to actually embody that, it feels really uncomfortable or unreachable in your own body. Our truth is muted and confused. That might look like not fully saying the thing we really want to say and constantly contorting or bending our truth because we're not feeling fully able to claim and to deepen into what we know is true. And then it's the same thing. Our discernment is wobbly. It's just this feeling of, it feels to me like in the system, it's really a lot of air. Like light femininity is very air. And when we have a lot of air, it can be really hard for those airy systems or those who have felt more safe in air to be more rooted in earth and to be even more rooted in a term like tree, which is really like ground. It's like setting the tone from inside out. It's not constantly being like blown in the wind, but it's like staking your claim of who you are and staking your claim in whatever standards that you're holding for your life. And if we talk about partnership, it's staking your claim of the type of partnership that you truly know that you're destined for, which means saying no to certain things that are not that. And this causes us to, yeah. So when we, suppress dark femininity and we only allow certain parts of us to be shared with the world. This causes us sometimes to perform femininity according to collective conditioning rather than living from a full range of our full feminine nature. And I want to say, when I say perform femininity, I say that with a lot of compassion. No one should ever feel shame for anywhere that we felt that we had to adapt in order to survive and belong by performing femininity. But once you see it, it is our responsibility to reroute and show our bodies that it's safe to actually embody our full range of femininity rather than to perform it. And the range of full feminine, I like to think of how we are both the gentle stream and the gentle river, and also the force of a tsunami, the force of an earthquake, the force of a forest fire. It's the ability to be both gentle, but also the ability to be massive, um, and chaotic and all shades of what Mother Nature truly is and how she's expressed in each and every one of us. Okay. Retrieving our exiled parts, freeing the good girl and the eternal maiden. This, I just want us to start feeling like a texture of, wow, like how does this relate to dating? How does this relate to whom I might attract and what type of relationship I might have? So, when we talk about the good girl, also known as the eternal maiden, we are not judging her at all. She is a hugely important developmental phase of womanhood for each and every one of us. Absolutely necessary. But some of the qualities of maidenship and good girl is that we're always tracking and sometimes even hyper vigilant to looking for approval outside of ourselves. Whereas when we begin to bury the good girl and we take a similar journey, like we're talking about here, of let's say maiden to mother, the maiden to mother journey is really about feeling where truth comes from, sourcing that from within, and really radiating that out versus constantly looking for feedback from the external world to say, like, is that okay? Or do I have permission for that? And the good girl was adaptive. She learned this to, gain love, to keep love. And so it's a really, really beautiful and wise and intelligent attempt for love. And I imagine a world in which we free ourselves more and more to say that love can be found in truth, authenticity, and fullness. And some of these qualities of the good girl might be to please, to always agree, and to not contrast, to be attractive and beautiful. This is huge. And What is the opposite of that? It's deeply fearing being unattractive and deeply fearing not being beautiful. I know that each and every one of us has that in us. And I would say the medicine to counter that is the crone medicine, like the wise woman, even just like the ugliest parts of you, like the one who mourns, the one who wants to rage, the one who screams, who's not feeling pretty or attractive or beautiful, but that a real partner and a mature nervous system of a partner would love and be able to hold space for. And yeah. And just think about the type of partner who only wants you to be attractive and beautiful. Just think about that.
Well, can I just quickly say,
Yeah.
because you told me, Tara, that I should share this? It's
Yeah.
so funny because when I try to do the good girl thing in my relationship now, he wants nothing to do with it. Like, actually gets so turned off. Isn't is just like, no. And then every time I'm crone, like I cry when I need to, or I'm angry about something, or like I really let my dark feminine and like, yeah, I feel ugly when I'm doing it. Like when I'm starving, hungry, and I'm just like, that's when he's like, wow. And that's how I know, because if I was operating from the good girl, then I would only have been able to manifest or be with a partner that like would want only that. And it's so funny because now the challenge is that I have a partner that only wants me to be in the integrated feminine. And that's a lot harder than performing. Like that means, damn, I got to be vulnerable and like really let my freak flag fly and also get crone as fuck. Like I'm going to be 95 sometimes in my
Right.
expression. And that's what's so hot to him.
Right. Right. As a man. Okay. Thank you for that, babe. Beautiful example. Yes. Yeah, it goes in the same way. Easy to love, non-threatening, which also just means that we're willing to abandon ourselves. Okay, so what are some of these wounds that these powerful women, I mean, the first day of the love fast, we opened up the Zoom and immediately I was just like, holy fuck. Like everyone in here is a witch, a priestess, an oracle, a wise woman, whatever names we want to say, but like really, really special women in this space. And yeah, these are some of the wounds that come from the suppression of our dark femininity. And this has happened generationally. We have oracles, priestesses, and witches in our ancestry. We have them in the collective memory. We have them in possibly past lives, and we have them inside of these bodies and vessels in this room right now. So the witch wound, and this is all, I mean, it's so deep, but at a surface, at a high view, the witch wound has this texture of the fear of persecution for your power, for your innate wisdom, for your medicine, for your healing capacities. It's literally the fear of, I am not safe to be myself. If I am myself, something bad could happen to me. And this is all going to show up in the nervous system as nervous system adaptations and responses. Priestess wound, the fear of stepping into spiritual authority. I said this in one of the previous calls before, but it's the difference of someone saying like, "Oh yeah, like I experience spiritual things and I'm like I study spirituality," versus like I have spiritual authority. Like I am deeply connected to the source of all things and whatever textures or lineages or tradition of spirituality that you study or are learning to integrate and embody, it's really to me, it's a different texture of like, are you just like toying with that? Like it's everybody else is better at that than you know that thing, or is it like, no, I am truly a daughter of this lineage, of this tradition, of this connection to magic and medicine and spirituality. And I am an authority in that dominion. And authority is not something that is taken lightly because integrity is a marker of what real authority is and your relationship to what it is that you're sharing and speaking about. And the oracle wound, it's funny me and Gabrielle, like, I think that we're a little bit of all of these things, but we've talked about it. And Gabby feels a lot of resonance to the witch wound. I feel a lot of resonance to the oracle wound. And this is something I've personally really continue to work with. But it's the fear of speaking what you see and you know. It's being afraid of how much truth you actually have access to. And the darker expressions of that, like when it's repressed, when you don't claim that, it can show up as like deep confusion and questioning of yourself, doubting yourself. And really, what that is not being who you truly are and the way that God, Goddess has designed you. It's really like not being who you are. So, this is all the ways that we across time, across society, generations have been censored, have been persecuted, have been enslaved, have been possibly killed. And that is the commitment of the love fast of no weapons formed against me shall prosper. It's really about in this lifetime, whether we're talking about ourselves or the women that we serve or our fellow sisters and brothers, like it's it's really about living a life in which we are going to choose that it's safe now. Like we're going to make it safe for everyone and we're going to make it safe for ourselves to embody these things that we truly are because it's actually the truth. And there's so many other archetypes that you might resonate with as well. But it's so important for us to talk about, the different polarities even within dark femininity, because we will see this a lot as well within ourselves and externally, because the dark feminine contains both destruction and generative expressions. So integration determines which one emerges. Maturity determines which one emerges. We need to even dissect a little bit deeper what dark femininity is and can be in different expressions. So when it comes out sideways, when it's coming from pain, when it's coming from the inability to contain dark femininity and move it and guide it in a way that is generative and serves you in the whole, when it's not maturated, it'll come out as sabotage, manipulation, revenge. It can come through as damsel in distress. It can come across as uncontained chaos. And it can also be used if we bring in like the sexual tones of dark femininity, it can be seduction used to gain control. Or another way to say that is seduction used to have what you need, which is also, wound of the priestess as well because of cultural undertones that we won't go into right now. But emotional punishment and withholding love. It's like, it's the stonewalling people. It's if you're not going to do this for me or if you've hurt me this way, I'm going to withhold love from you. And sometimes that is actually necessary with the severing, but most of the time before you sever, you try to resolve and repair. So these are the darker tones. Now, what is this tone of generative dark femme? I'm just going to check the chat to make sure I'm not like missing anything.
I'm taking
Gabby, you're good?
yeah.
Okay. Nothing I need to know? Okay, great. So, generative dark femme, she who tells the truth, has healthy boundaries, has the ability to end contracts and to sever when it's actually necessary, her access to sacred rage. And the generative dark feminine, I want you to just feel into the essence of a mother cub when I say protection of the sacred. Like, if there is some dangerous outside thing that could possibly harm her baby cubs or her tribe, like, best believe that she's going to turn on her dark femininity and her protection of the sacred, which is the ability to annihilate anything that is a possible danger to what it is that is innocent and sacred. And integrity and discernment. So, yeah, I want us just to take a moment to just take a few breaths. And I'm going to read off this generative dark feminine again. And I want you to actually feel what these qualities feel like in your body. And if maybe it's something that you're used to working with. Maybe it's an ancient remembrance that you are just going to meet today and remember that does live in your cellular memory. but just find the place within your own body and system where these qualities exist. The ability to tell the truth, the ability to hold necessary boundaries in order to preserve your health, your security, and your energy. The ability to sever and end karmic contracts, survival based adaptations that aren't working for you anymore, certain things in your life that you're sick of and don't want anymore, that you're suffering from. It's the ability to contain it and say no more. I close those tabs. I move on and I move forward. Thank you. Next, your sacred rage. There's a quote by Krishnamurti that says, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a sick society." It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a sick society. So, sacred rage is human and it's completely valid. And it's something that we should all have vehicles to express and to play with and liberate from our body so that it's not eating ourselves alive and causing issues. And protection of the sacred, feel that mother cub in you that is willing to say, I'm here to protect the little ones in me. Those innocent, sacred, younger parts of you. Who is the one that is protecting them? Feel that. Feel your integrity. It's standing on business with what you say, what you want, the standards that you require, the standards that you embody. It's being in alignment with the right relationship and what you know to be the right thing because it feels connected to the heart. You don't have to like run from truth or ignore it or sort of bypass it. You're willing to face truth head on. And then discernment. This is a very sexy, erotic quality that I want women to feel. Discernment. It's this feeling of like, like let me just pause a little bit. Let me see how that sits in my body. Like it's this discernment of I cannot be available for anything and everything and anyone, or else that would make me sick, literally. So, how do I discern? How do I have healthy containment within my own nervous system to say what gets to be close to me? What is closest to me? What is maybe 10 layers back? One of my mentors says, like, discernment is like who gets the backstage pass, who is in the crowd, and who is in the green room, the place where you're praying before you go on stage. And that is the opposite of the good girl, the one that's trying to be nice, but then ends up feeling exhausted and drained because she gave her energy away because everyone was in the green room. And this does, it's never about being mean or cruel. That's a very different tone. But I would say that people who have trouble with boundaries and people who were never given templates or permission from their parents to explore what healthy boundaries are, they will feel mean and cruel when you're beginning to actually have what, if your parents did teach you that, would be actually really a normal, healthy nervous system. So just notice that when you're feeling guilty, when you're feeling mean or cruel for actually just creating security from within, from having standards, notice how you can remind yourself of like, is that actually really true? Am I actually being mean or cruel? Or is this actually just me being healthy and self loving? So, access to our full range is wholeness. Now, here's the thing about when you begin to work with your dark feminine, this sometimes when we're going from like only being in our light feminine to dark feminine, sometimes the healthiest thing is to fully go crazy and like swing that pendulum fully the other way to really, really explore dark femininity. Sometimes it's a necessary component to really exploring that. But at some point, that pendulum will swing back towards the middle and it will have this healthy balance between both. And I would not say that my recommendation is to lead always with dark femininity. I would say that dark femininity is a tool. It's also just a way of being. Like some of us, all of us have different constitutions, all of us have different um we run different energy in our system. So some of us might really feel like our authenticity is light. Some might really feel our authenticity is dark. But healthy consciousness is always exploring our opposite because then we know we actually have range, which means authenticity. But you don't always have to lead with dark feminine. You just need to know that you have access to it and that when it's needed, you're not going to suppress it and that you're not going to run or hide from it. So, yeah. And when you perform, okay, when you suppress all parts of you, in some way, we're performing. When we are performing, true and mature love cannot meet the real you. And that is exactly what Gabrielle was expressing of what she's experiencing in her current partnership as well. And to me, like this is just one of those little nuggets before we really go into how are we dating again. I would say that so many of us are afraid of showing the people that we are dating and that we're attracted to our depth. And I would say that if we are not showing them our depth in the very beginning, it's a waste of time. The depth comes first. All of you comes first. Being able to own exactly what it is that you want without the attachment or the codependency to that, but being so clear in what you're here for. That is how you know in a sea of 8 billion people, you are actually with someone that wants all of you and that can totally empower all of you and meet you in all of you.
I would
So
just add one caveat that depth is also earned. If you notice someone is dropping when you open something and then they don't receive, then the discernment is I will not engage. They don't get to come in my green room.
I love that so much. Exactly. And it's also not the depth that's like date 2, you're like, "Do you wanna get married?" You know? It's like it's depth of let's go there, but also let's have spaciousness too. Okay. So, dark feminine summary, the dark feminine is not about becoming dangerous or manipulative. It is about reclaiming the aspects of ourselves that were exiled to maintain attachment and approval. These parts did not disappear, but they went underground in the unconscious, in the existential trash can. What is unconscious continues to shape our relationships and our choices.